And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be doing some more escaping of the Curse of the Temple. But today we're going to be doing it through quests. And we're looking at the second standalone expansion for this game, called Quests. It's 1 to 5 players, 10 minutes to play. It's timed, as we know. Let's go see what this adds and how it plays. We're going to be going through certain things like the Tree of Life. We're also going to be chasing ghosts back to tombs, doing all sorts of crazy tasks. So let's check it out. I'll show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. Quest comes with 5 quests and some special powers for all the players. So what it tells you to do is put 1, 2, or 3 quests, shuffle them in with the regular setup, and then for each quest you're going to put sort of a completion token here. If you do 2 or 3 or 1, however many you put them on, where the gems are kept. Now let's go through the quest chambers. The first one here is the altar. What happens is when somebody shows this and they go in here, this is an altar and they have to sacrifice dice. Now, the first person there can sacrifice both dice if they want to. As soon as 2 dice are on there, it's completed, and that's good. You cannot finish the game until all your quests are finished, meaning you can't escape. Now, if the first player just puts 1 die and leaves the room and decides not to put 2 immediately, the second die has to come from a different player. But again, once the second die is put, it's done, and that quest would be completed. Now, the next quest is the Tree of Life. What this means is, however many players there are, that's how many golden masks have to get put into this room. So if there's 3 players, you'd have to get 6 golden masks to go to this Tree of Life before this one is completed. The next one is the task chamber. You get 6 task tiles. At the beginning of the game, you're going to shuffle these, and you're going to put 4 of them near the board. And then when this tile comes out, 4 of them are going to go there. As soon as the first person enters the room, this tile is going to come out, and it's going to say 4 keys. So no matter who's in this room or how many people, you got to get 4 keys. Once that one's done, you'd have to get 4 gold masks. When that one's done, you'd have to get, in this case, 6 men. When that one's done, you'd have to get 3 men and 3 gold masks. Once that one's done, boom, this one is done. So, and there's 6 of them, so you never know which ones are going to be in there. It's a little bit random. The next one is the Ghost Chamber. So when this tile comes out, we then add a ghost figure to the start tile. Let's say we have the red guy here. He gets a chamber. It's the Ghost Chamber. As soon as this comes out, this ghost figure here, which is kind of cool, goes in the start. So somebody has to go back there using the normal means, and they have to roll 2 torches. And once they roll 2 torches, it then moves the ghost closer to the chamber, but then they still have to move and then roll 2 more torches to get him there. Now, this is easy because it's right next to the start. It almost never comes up there. It's always far away, and it's a pain to move him all the way to the chamber. But once you do, this one's complete. The last one is called the Obelisk Chamber, and when this comes out, it automatically is completed. However, it adds 3 gems to your gem pool. So in addition to all the gems that would be on here normally, 3 of them are added. And you can get these to get off here and subtracted off this by surrounding that chamber by other chambers. This one would actually be a tough draw because there's no door here. So people would have to pull up chambers, and they would have to pull up more chambers, and they'd have to pull up more chambers in hopes that they are surrounding. Now as soon as it's surrounded by a tile, one of those gems comes off and gets placed there. Now of course they could add some more in hopes that they get maybe a second or a third one. And as they surround them, so as soon as it's surrounded on each side, it gets those gems. You don't have to do them all, it's automatically completed, but it does subtract the amount of gems that it has added to how many you need to get out, essentially. Now let's get into the powers. Here, you get to, when you select, you actually get to select a character. Essentially, most of them are the same colors as most of the meeples. In this case, this is the mechanic, and there's 2 of them because you always get to choose between 2. You always get to choose between a permanent ability or an activatable ability. This one, for the whole game, whenever you roll a golden mask, it can be used as a key, and once it's used, you have to re-roll that die. Or you can say that anytime I roll 2 keys, I can instantly be moved to a chamber with somebody else in it anywhere on the board. Now with these, once you have activated this and used it, it flips over until the gong sounds, you get back to start. Once it's the end of that sort of the door slams, it becomes usable again. That's how activatable works, and that's how the mechanic works. Purple guy here is the Mentalist. Pretty cool picture. And his 2 things that you get to choose from. Again, you're only choosing one of these for the whole game. The permanent ability is anytime you roll 2 men, you can get to the next chamber. It doesn't have to be whatever's written on the chamber. The activatable one is anytime you roll 2 men, you can go to an adjacent chamber and you can even go through a wall. Pretty cool. But this one's activatable and then you'd flip it over. The doc, or doctor, has a little kit with a little syringe there. It's pretty cool. His permanent ability is when you roll a yellow mask, a golden mask, instead of just re-rolling 2 black masks, you can re-roll 3 of them. His activatable one is when you roll 2 golden masks, you can have anybody re-roll 3 golden masks anywhere. They don't have to be in the same room with you. That's very powerful. Then we have the priest. The priest is really cool. You think those black masks are bad? They're cursed? Not with the priest. Ha ha ha. In the permanent one, if you get stuck with 5 black masks, you automatically transport yourself to another room, which is pretty cool. This activatable one is when you roll 3 black masks. They can be used as 3 keys or 3 torches to get some gems. And when you do so, then you get to re-roll the black masks. We have the Discoverer. Her permanent one is when she discovers a chamber, she can, after she looks at it, she can put it to the bottom of the pile. This is really good if you're playing with curses or chambers, quests, the ones that you don't want, you put them to the bottom pile. Very powerful. This one is if you roll 3 men, you can move up to 3 chambers away, and of course then it's flipped over. And lastly, we have the Muscle Man. I think it's funny that the Muscle Man is carrying a little Bichon Frise dog. But anyway, we flip him over and we see his permanent is 1 torch equals 2 torches. Or he could choose his activatable, which is 2 torches, and he can rotate any chamber, which when you're playing with quests, you'll see why that's really important. And that's pretty much the whole entire Escape Quest expansion. All right, well, there's Escape Quest. Well, you've probably seen my review of Illusions, which I absolutely loved because it added like almost an infinite amount of combinations that you could use between that and the base game. And you add even more of that now. I mean, it's really, you can dial up or down the different difficulty ranges to your heart's desire. And even at those different difficulty ranges, there's different ways to play it. It's really cool. I love the characters. It's probably my favorite part of this expansion. Having these characters that you get to choose, and then even when you get them, you have 1 of 2 special abilities that you can choose. It is brilliant. I love that idea. And then you can either, where you can use it the whole game, or it's once you activate it, it goes down. You can only use it once until the next gong hits. I just think that's a great idea. And it makes the game so much more fun. As soon as you thought this game couldn't be more fun, you get characters. And it's like, ooh, special abilities, and you fight over them, and you talk about which ones might be better. For example, we were playing with a bunch of the quests, and one of those guys can take the tile and put it underneath, so whenever we get bad ones, and we were all fighting over that one. So it's just really cool to have those characters. And then the quests themselves are pretty cool. It does make it obviously a lot harder, but I like the fact that you can mix these quests with the one quest that came with Illusions, which was the Chalice. And you mix those up, and you can do 1, 2, or 3 of them. So it's like, oh man, you could do base game. You could do base game with, the curses and or the treasures. You can add those illusion tiles if you want. You can always, I'm always going to play with the character abilities all the time. You can add any one of these numbers of quests. So you really do have an infinite number of ways to play this game now. So, I mean, I guess they could possibly come out with another expansion. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but if they stopped now, I'd be happy. And I am sure even after 40 or 50 plays of this thing, I'm still not, that's where I'm at now, and I know that with even 50 more, I probably still wouldn't get sick of it because there's so many different ways to play the game. Good job, Queen Games, on getting this expansion out, Quests.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool Stuff Inc. in stock. Check them out at coolstuffinc.com.